Hi, my name is Corrine Haim, and I feel like I've already had such incredible experiences in my life, both really difficult and really beautiful, that contribute to who I am in my life today. And I'm eternally grateful for my life, this life, with all of the difficulties and all of the beauty. I came out as a lesbian at 19 when I was in college, which is a pretty good environment to come out, if there is a good environment to come out. And when I think about what has gotten better, I guess sometimes it's hard to say, you know, all the attacks, the hatred, the violence, it still happens a lot. It's really not over, not at all. Definitely not better. But it seems clear that what is happening, it seems clear to me what's happening here and what's happening now is it's a revolution. It's a new phase of fighting for our own civil rights. And this kind of social change really never happens without intense resistance from those who simply refuse to personally evolve. So yeah, this makes me sad. But when I think about what has truly gotten better, I just see it in so many ways. So I graduated high school here in Las Vegas in 1988, and basically no one was out in high school. Of course, there were gays and lesbians and transgender and bisexual students in school, but nobody was able to be out. The environment was such that you just couldn't be. There were no protections from the school. I mean, we still see the bullying in the schools now, but we also see all these news stories now of battles won, teens claiming their identity, schools enabling protections, and students of the same gender going to prom together. It still makes me smile every time I hear it. Is all this fixed in the schools? Not even close. But yes, it's really gotten better. When I tell someone I'm gay, I've noticed there's simply less shock, less discomfort. As a matter of fact, when I tell someone I'm gay, or when they find out, it doesn't immediately evolve into a conversation of, how did you know? And all of the regular stereotypical things we always hear. Really a lot better than it was 20 years ago. So that's much better, actually. Another thing, when I went to graduate school for counseling here at UNLV in 2004, there was simply no mention at all of anything related to LGBT, community issues, anything. And I was in school for counseling. Nothing. That was only in 2004. Not once, not ever. Well, a few months ago, I still teach here at UNLV, undergraduates mostly, but I was asked to come speak at a graduate level class. And it was the exact same program I'd graduated from in 2006. I was supposed to speak on counseling transgender clients. That's one of the things that I do. I'm a licensed therapist. As I started to talk to the students, I realized that this program, yes, had gotten better, way better. They already knew all the information I had to bring them, and we actually were able to get into some really in-depth conversation. They seemed extremely comfortable, and I was really able to move into everything that was more in-depth. I suppose I could go on with these examples and on in the past, well, I guess it's been over 20 years now since I've come out. But I really have to say, what's really gotten better is me, my strength, my person, my self-identity. I know me, and I really like myself. As I get better, so much gets better around me. So keep fighting your fight. You'll get better, and keep loving those who honor you for who you are, because I'm here to say that yes, I believe it does get better, and most importantly, so do you.
Hello, my name is Brent Flybo and I'm an instructor at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. During my formative years of growing up in a small eastern Montana town, I quickly realized that our society was governed by fear. Fear of differences. I was different, and I feared the ramifications of someone finding out my differences. Fear for myself and for my family. I had the ability to be invisible, and I capitalized on this invisibility due to fear. I've been teaching at UNLV since 2005, and I've noticed a specific change or shift in students' perceptions of LGBT issues. Students are more willing to dialogue about LGBT issues and more willing to be immersed in the literature. Last semester, I had 2 gay males come to my class and discuss their experiences of being a part of this marginalized population. My students went crazy. They loved it. They were laughing, they were asking great questions, a couple of tears. In fact, collectively, my students told me that this was their favorite class throughout the entire semester. It gets better. Find support. Be around people who love you. Community, school, friends, family. Everybody wants to be loved and supported and accepted. It gets better. How do I know this? Because I feel it and I've experienced it firsthand. It gets better.
My name is Jackson, and growing up, I never understood why people would say I was a girl. I certainly didn't feel like one, and while I wore dresses and replied to female pronouns, I didn't ever really conceptualize these things as girl. When sixth grade and inevitably puberty hit, I really began panicking because I unequivocally knew that what was going on was wrong, but I couldn't understand why these things were happening to me because I definitely wasn't a girl. However, I didn't really have the words to express these feelings, and so I went along with being a girl because I didn't know any different. That decision brought me to many dark places over the years, and it wasn't until 2007 that I realized things needed to change and I started actively seeking help. I used the internet at my college and my local library to research everything about my gender dysphoria. I found this word, transgender, and that proverbial light bulb clicked. I thought that because I didn't feel like a girl, I must be a boy, and I started following the path I saw other transgender people making. There were still difficulties, but I was happier than I had ever been. Inevitably, though, the same feelings I had growing up came back stronger than ever. I didn't feel like a boy either, and I struggled with these crisis moments of thinking I was just in denial about being a girl, thinking I was a fake, and that I wasn't trans enough because I didn't fit along this usual transition path I was seeing everywhere. I didn't know there were any other types of transgender people beyond female to male or male to female. The day I learned there were others who didn't feel like they fit these usual ideas, I was ecstatic because I finally felt like I belonged. The knowledge of gender identities outside the binary and the relationships I have with people who identify on different parts of the broad transgender web, like gender neutral or gender queer or gender fluid, have helped me accept that gender identity is not a one-size-fits-all category, and I can identify and live in whatever way fits best for me. I do recognize that the privilege I am born with makes this decision easier for me than it does for others. But this just motivates me to work harder and help others obtain the same privilege I have so that we can all have the right to be our authentic selves. The most difficult part of this entire journey is probably when I disclosed my trans identification to people, because there's not many people in my life that I have anyway, and I didn't want to lose the few that were there. A member of my family of choice that lives in Sweden, she was very, very insulted and very, very hurt that I even thought that she might not want to be part of my family anymore. A mentor of mine says that you can't choose your family, but you can choose who you call family. And I'm very, very happy and very, very fortunate that I have people I consider family. And you can have these people in your life too. I know your situation may seem beyond hopeless, and too often it's very difficult to climb out of the hole that we feel stuck in. However, you and I are very, very blessed to live in a time of internet and computers, and with few clicks, we can find people not just in our own neighborhood, but all over the world. And you probably don't know us, but we know you. We know your story, we've lived it, we've survived it, and we want you to survive it too, because it has gotten better, it is getting better, it will get better. In the words of Dr. Seuss, always be who you are and say what you feel, because people who mind don't matter and people who matter don't mind. It gets better.
Hi, my name is Marky Blummer, and while I can't speak for everyone, I can speak from my own experience, and I do think it's getting better. It was the 1980s, when I was about 10 years old, that I realized for the first time that I liked girls in addition to boys. I was lucky because when I told members of my family of origin, they were supportive. For example, my mother told me that she thought that bisexuality was beautiful, and that it was a form of loving someone for who they are and not what they are. Outside of my family bubble, however, the support for identifying as bisexual was really not there. I grew up in a small town in Alaska, so it wasn't really until the 1990s when I went out of state to college that I was able to live my life in an open manner, claiming an identity or label and sharing it with others. I realize there is ongoing misunderstanding and confusion about what it means to be bisexual. So I am visible, and I share with students and colleagues, both verbally and in written work, so that other people who are bisexual know that we are not alone, that there are many people like us, and there are many ways to be bisexual. Despite the ongoing misunderstandings about bisexuality, I think it is getting better. From the 1990s until now, at least now the term bisexual is being used, and some people recognize it for what it is, which is a legitimate sexual orientation. And there are so many more people who are open and identifying now. Do I think it's 100% better yet? No. I mean, people still don't really always get what it means to be bisexual, but now people are asking questions and wanting to learn more, and there are growing opportunities to dialogue and educate and help clear up misunderstandings. Do I long for the day when people will just accept orientation for what it is? Yes. Do I think that we are getting closer to that in many places on the globe? Yes. But listen, if you aren't getting the support internally and or externally for who you are, please know there are people and places who are supportive and who can help. And there are resources that just weren't there when I was young. I think it is getting better. I think it does get better. And each of us has every right for it to be better. Please. There are many of us. Please know that we are here to be supportive, and so are our allies. Don't give up. Make it better. Get the support you need. If we all work together to make it better, then it does get better.
UNLV, it gets better.